Good day, everyone, and welcome back to another PHP Runner tips and tricks tutorial. Today we will be looking at a workflow management application. Before we dive in, I'd like to give a special thank you to Mustafa Ustunses for becoming a member this past week. Your support is truly appreciated. You can now download a sample project and the code, an explanation of the code, like all other members of PHP Runner tips and tricks. Also, a big thanks to Sergey Kornilov for walking us through the full process and patiently answering questions during the recent Dev Club webinar. In this video, I'll be giving you a summary of what was covered. If you'd like to see the full step-by-step breakdown, I highly recommend joining the Dev Club for the complete experience. Link is in the description.
Before diving into the code, let's first take a quick tour of the application itself. At the moment, I'm signed in as the system administrator. However, don't let that title mislead you. This isn't a true system administrator account just yet. For now, it functions like a regular user account. In future tutorials, we'll enhance this role to behave more like a real administrator with special privileges. The first thing I'll do is click on My Tasks. This page displays all the tasks assigned to the currently signed-in user. In my case, I have one task, Assign a Developer. Next to it, there's a Complete button that allows me to mark the task as done. Next, let's navigate to the Users section. Here, you can see a list of all users currently available in the system. Right now, this list is visible to everyone, but later we might restrict this view so that only administrators can access it. That's something we can improve in future versions. Now, this is where the real magic starts. Workflow templates. A workflow template defines a reusable process or sequence of steps you can apply to different scenarios. You can create any type of workflow and give it a descriptive name. In this example, we already have 3 templates set up: employee onboarding, content publishing, and bug resolution. Let's open the employee onboarding workflow.
Within this workflow, we have 3 steps: create a system account, set up a workstation, and orientation session. Each of these steps is already assigned to a specific user. Create a system account, admin. Set up workstation, J. Doe. Orientation session, A. Smith. That's just one example. You can create as many workflows as you like, and each workflow can contain as many steps as needed. This flexibility is the core concept behind the entire project. Next, let's look at workflow instances. These represent actual running examples of your templates. Here, we can see the employee onboarding process in progress. The admin has already completed the first step, create a system account. The setup workstation step, assigned to J. Doe, is still pending. The orientation session, assigned to A. Smith, is also pending. This gives us a clear overview of who is responsible for what and which parts of the process are still outstanding. Let's switch users to see how this looks from a different perspective. I'll copy J. Doe's username and password from the users list, log out, and sign in as J. Doe. Once logged in, if I open My Tasks, I can see that the Setup Workstation task is waiting for me to complete it. That's exactly what we expected. Each user only sees the tasks assigned to them. Now I'll do the same for A. Smith. After signing in with A. Smith's credentials, we can see 2 tasks listed under My Tasks: Orientation Session, part of the Employee Onboarding workflow; Close Ticket, part of the Bug Resolution workflow. Each task has a green Complete button next to it, allowing the user to mark the step as finished. In future tutorials, we could add notifications to inform admins or other users when tasks are completed, add permissions so that only authorized users can view or edit specific data. There's plenty of room to expand the system and make it more dynamic. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Finally, let's take a look behind the scenes at the database to see how all this data is stored, including users, workflows, steps, and task assignments. This will give us a better understanding of how the application ties everything together.
Now, for a quick breakdown of the SQL schema for a workflow management system. This schema provides a highly structured and scalable design for automating and tracking multi-step business processes. We use 5 primary tables that work together to define and execute these processes. 1. Defining the blueprint. We start with the process definitions, the template for what needs to be done. Workflows. This table holds the definition or template of a process. Think of this as the main blueprint table. It uses a unique ID. It stores the name, for example, expense claim or new hire onboarding, and a long description of the overall workflow. Workflow steps. This table defines the individual stages or steps that belong to a specific workflow blueprint. The workflow ID is a foreign key, linking the step back to its parent workflow. More about foreign keys later. The step order is crucial as it defines the sequence of steps, for example, 1, 2, 3. It stores the step name, for example, manager approval, and can include a default assigned user ID.
2. The people. The users table is standard. It holds the information for people who can start workflows or be assigned tasks. It includes basic account fields like username, password, full name, and email. These users are referenced by other tables via foreign keys like assigned user ID or started by. Tracking execution. When a blueprint is put into action, for example, when an employee submits a new leave request, we create a running copy. Workflow instances. This table tracks an active or historical run of a workflow. It uses workflow ID to specify which blueprint this instance is based on. Started by links to the users table to record who initiated the process. It tracks the overall process status, which can be active, completed, or canceled. The started at field records when the process began. The actionable to-do list. While the instance tracks the overall run, the tasks table tracks the specific actions that need completion. This is the most dynamic table and represents the actual assignments given to users during a workflow instance. Workflow instance ID links the task back to the specific running process. Step ID links the task to the defined step in the blueprint, such as the manager approval step. Assigned user ID indicates exactly who is responsible for completing this specific task. It tracks the task status, pending or completed, and the completed at field records the timestamp when the user finished the task. Conclusion, the relationships. This schema is interconnected through foreign keys, ensuring data consistency. A single workflow design can have many workflow steps, the design, and many workflow instances, the runs. Each instance generates many tasks, the actual executions of steps. Every task is linked directly back to a user and a defined workflow step. In summary, this solid foundation allows the system to define templates, execute them, and track task progress through to completion. Now let's look at the foreign key relationships, which are the vital rules that hold a structured database, like our workflow management system, together. What is a foreign key? Think of a foreign key as a crucial link or pointer. It is a column in one database table that points to the unique ID or primary key in another table. This setup ensures that your data remains consistent and organized. Purpose: connecting the pieces. In any well-designed database, information is split across multiple tables. Foreign keys are the mechanism used to map these relationships. For example, they allow us to link a general workflow definition to its specific running instances and those instances to the actual tasks being performed. A concrete example. Let's look at how our workflow system connects the blueprint to the steps. 1, we have the workflows table, which holds the template or definition of a workflow. 2, we have the workflow steps table, which defines the individual steps that belong to that workflow. The link between them is the foreign key. The workflow ID column in the workflow steps table references the ID column in the workflows table. This connection is critical. It ensures that if we try to define a step, that step must belong to an existing workflow blueprint. Linking users. This linking happens constantly across our schema. When a user starts a process, the workflow instances table uses the foreign key started by to identify the person who kicked off that run, linking back directly to the users table. Similarly, every assigned task in the tasks table uses the assigned user ID foreign key to link to a specific person in the users table. In summary, foreign keys create a clear relationship map, ensuring every component, whether it's a step, an instance, or a task, is properly linked back to its origin or its assignee. Finally, when foreign key relationships are set up properly in your database, PHP Runner will automatically establish the relations when connecting to the database. Okay, that's it for me. Remember, members have access to everything you need to run this example. The link is provided in the description. Till next time, bye.